Why would you choose an almost $200 VST versus a free VST? Well, I ask myself that a lot. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 14-day free trial of L.E.A.D versus the free, always free, Circuit Bass. So diving into them, let's just see what the DIs sound like. First one we're going to listen to is Circuit. Not bad. And now let's go to the L.E.A.D bass. I thought it was lead. It is L.E.A.D because it's the heaviest tuned, and we'll get into that. All right, so they both sound like guitar DIs, and they are going to have a little bit of different tone because they're modeled after different guitars. So let's look at Circuit Bass, which is the free one first, and see what it has to offer, and then we'll compare it to L.E.A.D Bass. If we go in here, we're going to see that it is modeled after a Legator Wraith with Fishman Fluence Modern Active Humbuckers. You're going to have 3 different articulations: alternate picking, downstroke, upstroke. Pause. Say whatever you want about that, but you get 3 item different sounds. To me, they are the same. You can also humanize it so it's not the exact same thing over and over and over again. It's going to add a little bit of modulation. Other than that, you're going to get a volume knob, control the bass and the treble amount. But this is just set straight dead to noon at DI default, and that's what the samples sound like. One of the bonuses here is that you can kind of just select the different tones that you want. A hard drive tone, a clean tone. You can go to the sound file, J-style rock bass, a growl, right? They're just changing the knobs for you in and out. 3 different pick settings, a piano roll that goes down to, I think it's E. That's E0. But you get a cool guitar sampled well, and you're going to get simplicity. So now let's take a look at what L.E.A.D Bass has to offer. L.E.A.D Bass is a custom 4-string multi-scale. I had to go to the website to find all this, so you can all read it for yourself, but it's a 33 to 37 multi-scale custom bass that they use for their sampling. Into this program, you'll initially see that this has a lot more articulation options. It also goes down to drop F-sharp -1. So if you're looking for naturally low sounding bass that was sampled at a low tuning, this is the lowest. And then it goes up. So everything that I put in the MIDI roll here to compare the 2 sounds was on a C1. Pretty standard, just so you can see what the DIs sound like. You don't get a bunch of actual tones with this kit. You get 3 different cabs, right? Subbier, a little bassier, a little cleaner, a little thumpy. You get 1 tone with a bunch of different articulations. You have a string force button, and then you have all your regular stuff, right? Volume, attack, decay. You get more. Is that worth it to you for $189? That's to be determined. So let's go back and let's do a pros and cons of Circuit Bass versus L.E.A.D. Pros for Circuit Bass include the fact that it is free. It also comes with a bunch of presets. It's modeled after a very solid 5-string guitar that goes all the way down to E0 as far as its scale range. Now, the big con is that there's no articulation. I mean, really, there's just none. If you were looking to play straight notes, it's good. But if you were looking for a bass guitar that you could do cool things with, hit pinch harmonics, bends, etc., you're not going to find any of that here. Pros of L.E.A.D. It is going to give you all of those articulation options, pretty much everything you could ask for with a bass guitar. Bends, harmonics, tremolos, chug sounds, you name it. It has a plethora of sampled options. It also goes all the way down to an F-sharp -1, which is 7-8 notes lower than the free Circuit Bass. The downsides here are that, yes, it costs money. No, it doesn't come with a bunch of presets. And other than that, it is very slow. It's computer resource intensive. That is my biggest gripe about it, is that when I load this up, it takes forever. If I try and switch to the natural fingerstyle, I feel like it's picking out an entire another bank of presets, samples. It takes forever to load. Once it loads, however, it is good, but it is kind of annoying to jump into a session and be like, okay, guys, hold on. I have to wait for my bass to load. So the question remains, which one of these 2 basses is going to be the one that you should pick. Why would you pick a $189 VST over a free VST? Now, other than the obvious articulation, yes, you're going to get a lot more articulations out of the lead bass. Does everybody need that? No. I think everybody could use circuit bass. It's going to give you a good position to just drag and drop some notes onto a MIDI, put that onto your bass track, and it's going to start playing bass. You can use it to dial in your bass amps or effects or whatever. Jot down ideas, send it to somebody and be like, yeah, this is the key we're in, this is what we're thinking. You can add your own twist on it later when we go to a studio, etc. I think for the home recording artists, circuit bass is going to excel in 80% of the situations that you're going to need it for. But it does fall short when it comes to the articulations. So I think lead bass, while anybody could use it, I think a very specific user base was intended for this VST. If you are a band that's going to be using extreme drop tunings, playing extreme metal, maybe a bunch of different time signatures, much more dynamic bass player is in your band, you know, you're going to be able to automate and articulate a bunch of those different sounds to give you more creativity, I think. I can also see this being very useful in a recording situation where, let's say you have a bass player who is tracking parts and for some reason it's just, you know, the guitars aren't staying in tune, or they're just not hitting a note the right way, or maybe the guitar is just making extra buzz, whatever. You're going to go ahead, throw a DI match on there, throw the lead on, or sorry, the lead on, and just automate it, articulate it, boom, in and out. Okay, cool. We have pinch harmonics here. We have a slide, bend, whatever. Go to the next part. It's going to be good for quickly editing, taking tracks, getting them to the next part, saving you time and money in the studio. And if you run a studio and you're a producer, I think $189 is a fair price for saving hours and hours on end of trying to listen to somebody track something perfectly. It just is what it is. It's going to be a pretty dynamic tool for you. And again, I don't think everybody needs that, but it is nice to finally have the option of having an extremely dropped tuning that we can automate and do pretty much any sound we need with. That being said, thanks for watching. I appreciate everybody that made it to the end of the video. And if you made it this far, please hit the subscribe button, as I am trying to grow the YouTube so I can do live streams on here as well. See you guys on the next one, and stay metal.